So today we are going to discuss about these topics. Today is day 27 and today we are going to talk about cloud storage security, cloud network security, VPC, right? I will be showing you and the infrastructure, how the infrastructure of AWS is made, security groups in AWS, right? Serverless architecture, what it means, EC2, right? An S3 bucket, an instance, and their type. So what is an instance and what its type, right? So all these kind of things we are going to do. So let's get started. So the first thing is that cloud storage security. Definitely, if you are using the cloud platform, you are going to store the data. As I have shown yesterday that the moment you create a server, you are going to store your information somewhere else, right? So that what the storage is all about. Definitely in AWS, we have seven different, services which are completely dedicated for your storages. But the services or the place where you store your particular services, what going to happen there? You are need to, protect that particular information as well, right? Different multiple encryption algorithms are there, hashing is there, okay? Hashing is there, encryption is there, all those kinds of things are there. And what you will be doing is that you will be using it, right? In order to protect the data from any kind of an hack or the hackers, stealing your particular data. So this thing, right? So you will be using multiple types of encoding, encryption, hashing, all those kind of things you will be using in an order to start, or to protect your particular information from the hackers. That's what the storage is about. So that's why in the cloud there are definitely dedicated services which deals with the storages, and we have to work upon security as well. So just not just creating the storage is not the end. You have to secure that particular storage unit as well, right? So they're definitely using encryption and hashing and all this kind of thing. You will be securing your storage units. Okay, that's what it means. Like, so we have encryption, we have data back recovery and compliance, right? All these kind of things through which we kind of protect our storage, where we keep our data. Now we comes to the network part. Definitely in the AWS, we have again multiple services. As I yesterday explained you, we have multiple services which are related to the storages, right? Today in today's session, I will be just showing you a little bit of a demonstration as well about the storage part as well as the server part. So like the storage, we have S3, right? Elastic block storage, okay? So multiple things are there. Same with the network also. So to deal with the network, right, we have multiple resources in place in the cloud as well, like the VPC, like the access control, okay, all those kind of things are there. And definitely there is a network. So what you need to do is that you need to provide the security to the network. So what if you do not provide any kind of a security to your respective network inside the AWS or with outside the cloud as well on the on-premises setup, there is a huge possibility that the attackers could get inside your particular network, and any information which is traveling from one particular region to another particular region, they will be sniffing that particular information. That is going to happen. Okay, so any information which is going to which is get delivered from A to B, if there is a hacker setting or there is a particular person who has some kind of an access to this particular network, so any information this A is sending to B or this B is sending to the A, this attacker is going to get it. That's why we need to provide the security to the network. That's why, like in the public, if you have public Wi-Fi, it's not a very good idea to use the public Wi-Fi and share your credentials, like login into your bank account or any these kind of services. Okay, so that's not a great idea, right? Okay, so this is all about the network security part. Right? So we have, for the network security part, we have the VPC, virtual private cloud, right? So it's in kind of an isolated from the network, and AWS, what it does is that AWS lets you create as isolated place inside its own architecture where you can do the subnetting, right? You can create servers, you can attach that particular servers, right? You can block certain kind of IP addresses, all those kind of things you can do, right? This kind of flexibility the VP, this AWS provides through something which is called the VPC, virtual private cloud. So it's completely virtual, but it's your completely private cloud inside onto the infrastructure. The infrastructure over which this VPC is about the AWS. Definitely the AWS is going to charge you for that as well. But what is going to happen? That you are going to have to pay for that as well, right? Then there is something which is called the access control, ensuring that only the authorized users can access the cloud, right? For this, we have something which is called the IAM, identity and access management, right? So it to identify and allow, right? To allow somebody, first we identify someone, and then what we do is that then we allow someone based upon the identity that he has provided to us, right? So to manage all this kind of identity and authorized resources, that's called the IAM, identity and access management, right? And this what we can do is that we can create user, we can create groups, and we can assign certain responsibility based upon the roles to that particular person, okay, that particular user. So for example, if you are working in a IT department, right? So let's say there are two users who are working in, there are two users, and first particular person is working in IT department, and another person who's working in the sales department. So based upon the role you are having in an organization, what you are going to do is that you are going to provide the roles. Sorry, you are going to provide the permissions, okay, to that particular persons. So definitely the permissions would be to access certain kinds of file for the salesperson, right? And certain, depending upon the job role of that particular individual, he will be provided certain permissions, right? This is it. Okay. So that's what happens in the IAM, identity and access management, access control, what I'm talking about. So we decide first of all what that particular person job role is in an organization. And based on that particular thing, what we'll be doing is that we will be assigning the responsibility. Okay, we will be kind of assigning the powers to that particular persons. Okay, that's something which is also called the least privilege. Whichever thing the certain amount of resources requirement that particular person needs, only that much should be provided to that particular person, not more than that. Okay, otherwise there it could be catastrophic in an organization, right? So that's why I told you, in an organization, whether it's on premises or in the cloud, definitely network is a very important part, and we need to secure that network as well. For securing networks, we have multiple tools in AWS, but I explained you two. The first is the VPC, virtual private cloud. The second is the access control. Now let's talk about infrastructure of AWS, right? So let's talk. Now I'm going to show you you know the AWS infrastructure. So first of all, before showing you kinds of an hands-on thing, there are three things that you need to understand in an AWS, right? The first is the region. Okay, the first is the region, right? The second is your availability zone, okay, your particular zone, and third is your data center. Okay, the first is your region, the second is your zone, the third is your data center. Okay, so what happened here is this: zone, region are the physical location from where your AWS operates, right? So there are multiple regions present in the world because AWS is kind of a global, right? So like there would be Mumbai, Tokyo, Singapore, all of these regions are present. So region are those particular places from where the AWS operates. It's physically present there, okay? And you can easily get the information about the region. If you go and search over the internet, it will be providing you with a lot of information, and you start with the region part, okay? That is a region. The second is the zone, right? zone, what happens here is this. Okay, let me draw a diagram and it will be quite easier for you to explain. This is the region that I'm showing you right now. Okay, okay, yeah. So in this particular diagram by itself, it is showing. So this is particular one region, right? This is one region. Let's say it's your Mumbai region. Okay, this is your Mumbai region. Inside this particular region, we are having three availability zones. This one is one availability zone. This is another availability zone. This is another availability zone. Okay. This is one availability zone. This is another availability zone. So there are at least, so minimum three availability zones should be present inside your region. Okay. So this is that. So these are the availability zone. Inside this availability zone, you can see this one is your data center. So this could be the availability zone one. Okay, availability zone one in the Mumbai region. This could be availability zone two in the Mumbai region. This is availability zone three in the Mumbai region. So inside the Mumbai region, the region is Mumbai, the region is the same. But inside, if you go inside the Mumbai region, you have three availability zone. First, second, third. Across the Mumbai, it could be scattered. It could be at one place, some, and the availability zone could be at another place, right? That's the thing. So okay, this is the thing, right? Inside that, right? So this is the thing. Now, what really happened here is this. Inside that availability zone, there is something which is called the data center. If you go to a particular availability zone, you will be having at least two to three, minimum two to three data centers. Okay. Data centers, if you have gone and seen in the movies or in the web series, if you have seen, you have multiple you have seen that particular racks would there. Okay, computers are operating, there could be some kind of cooling system would be there. Okay, so that is kind of a server. Is that server is a place, or you can say the data center is a place where you actually have that particular server. Anything like in your, particularly in your Google Drive, if you're storing any kind of an information, right? So definitely Google would be having a huge databases. You can just go to the YouTube or Google and just type data center, and they will be providing you the multiple you know videos or tour or pictures of the data centers of some of the Amazon, some of the Microsoft, some of the Google, right? So data center is where the servers are kept, where where actual that particular magic happens. So the data centers are the building block of the complete AWS infrastructure, right? It's a complete you know a building block, right? So multiple data centers combine together to form one availability zone. Multiple availability zones combine together to form one region. Okay, and multiple regions combine together to form the AWS complete infrastructure, right? This is the whole story about it. And one more thing, guys, easily over the internet, what you can do is that you can go over the internet, you can go over the Google or any other way, and you can even AWS through its own documentation would be providing you that at which location, where is this data center, sorry, the regions are present, right? In which particular country the regions, it has a kind of a presence, and in which country it is not. Okay, so it would be telling you where its regions are and where it is not. But when it comes to availability zone, when it comes to data center, it is not going to tell you about it, right? Due to security concerns. So AWS is not going to tell you about anything about the data center and availability zone, right? And one more thing, this availability zone, which I have shown you right now, like this in this particular example that you're seeing. Okay, just let me erase all this kind of thing. Yeah, so see, all these availability zones you are seeing right in front of you in the Mumbai region. Okay, just think about it like this is the Mumbai region of the AWS. Okay, like, okay, in India particularly, we have two regions from where AWS operates. So if you are in India, and if you are using AWS, has a huge possibility that there are two places from where you will be getting access to the AWS. The first is your Mumbai and the second is your Hyderabad. Hyderabad was, I think, in 2022 it was there, right? And in Mumbai it was in 2016 it was, right? So Hyderabad is kind of the latest one. Okay. So we have in a region, this particular region I'm talking, it's just Mumbai. Any other region you can take, the architectural diagram would be just, you can take off Singapore, you can take off Tokyo, right? You can take off, anywhere in the world, right? Wherever the AWS has its presence. So what you can do is that the architecture will be remaining the same, okay, no matter what's the region is. So for the reference, I'm showing you, this is kind of a Mumbai region. So in the Mumbai region, if you go, you have 3 availability zones. It can be more than that, but actually you have 3. Okay, minimum you have 3. One more thing, these availability zones are at least 100 kilometers far apart from each other. They are not going to disclose the location, but at least there are some kind of speculations. They're at least 100 kilometers far apart from each other, right? And definitely the location of availability zone is a very secret thing, right? And the availability zone, each and every, like 3 availability zones are there. Like this is one, this is second, this is the third. Okay, this is the first, the second, the third. 3 availability zones are there. So definitely out of these 3 availability zones, they are separate. They will be having separate power supply. Okay, they will be having different separate cooling system. All these kind of things would be present there. They would have a separate power supply and a cooling systems. Why? If, like, for example, if this availability zones goes down, if there is any kind of ransomware attack, something happens to this particular availability zones, so what really happens is, so it will not be affecting this and this, right? This will be intact and working properly, and the region would be accessible. Okay, this is the thing. So the availability zone, each and every availability zone would be physically separated from each other, right? Okay, through the power, I'm telling about the power, as well as the cooling system. Okay, so that's the thing. And inside this availability zone, there are data centers. Data centers are the places where we are having actually that particular data. So if you're storing any kind of an information in the Google Drive, definitely Google is going to state somewhere in the the data center. So definitely for sure. Okay, so definitely it's now the headache of the AWS or the Google now to keep your data safe there physically. Okay, that's the reason. Remember this particular thing, guys. It's been asked in the interviews, that is the location of availability zone or the location of data center is known to the public. The answer is no. The location of availability zone and the location of your data center is not revealed to the general public, right? The location about the region is being provided to the general public. Now let me show you, just let me take you to the AWS console, how it looks like. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, guys, so this is how the AWS platforms, this console looks like. Whenever you will be creating the AWS account, right? This is the moment you will be entering, right? So this is how the AWS console will be looking. So when the moment you will be creating a AWS account, and you will be entering it, signing in with your credentials, logging in and a password. So you will be provided with this kind of things, right? These are the recently visited, services. So it can vary a lot if you're creating any new account. So definitely no services would be present here, as you will be practicing more and doing more hands-on thing. So definitely, you know, this is going to increase, right? So it's kind of provide you with the latest, not every one of it. Okay. Now, so right, this is how the console would looks like of the AWS. These are all the services, not all, but the services which I have used recently, Route 53. Okay, all these kind of things are there, right? So let me show you how the region looks like, right? If you want to see what are the regions, so this is a kind of a thing in AWS, which I keeps on telling to my particular students, and I'm telling to you all as well. Whenever you log in, you have entered your, username, your root account name and your password, and now you are logged into your AWS account. Keep this particular thing, guys, in mind. Then there is something at the right hand side, at the left, at the top, and the right hand side at the top, there is, you will be finding your respective location. So right now it's Mumbai, right? The location is Mumbai. The region it is showing is the Mumbai. So what it means, what it truly means, why it's showing you this? It means that if in this particular, like I am in Mumbai region, so what it means is that I create an instance, I create a server, whatever my demand is, all right. My boss has told me that, okay, Amit, go and create a server, or anything is there. They have told me to create a server. Okay, in this moment. So moment I create one server or thousands of server or any other thing I create in this, it will be only accessible in the Mumbai region. If I switch to another region, it will be not there, right? It will be only restricted to the Mumbai region. It would not be present to another region. Remember this thing, guys. Okay, so like you would be asking me question that Amit, do you think do you saying that there are multiple region in AWS? I would say absolutely. Let me show you. So first of all, remember this thing, guys, right? Keep this particular thing in mind. It's a rule of thumb. Remember this particular thing. The moment you actually log into your AWS account, keep the location in your mind, right? Because there has been incidences where what most people does is that when they are very new to the AWS, they create some kind of services, they create kind of server, okay, and when their job is done or when their practice has been done, so they shut it down. They go to the right hand side and the cross button, and they just click it, and that's all. They shut down their PC and go home, or they start doing some kind of other activities. Okay, so the server is not shut down. Remember this particular thing. It's a very serious thing, right? The server is there, it's still running, and it keep on running all overnight. Okay, that's the big thing. So I will be coming to that particular part, that particular problem. But first thing, remember, keep the region in mind. In India, how many regions you have? You have two regions. You have Mumbai as well as Hyderabad region. Okay. So this is how it region is look from where you will be finding your region to the moment you will be actually entering your AWS console. At the left, at the right hand side, at the top corner, you will be seeing Mumbai. Like in my particular screen, it will be visible. Okay, now let me switch to my particular region. Okay, so like now the requirement is that my particular customer is in US. Okay, USA, United States of America, and I want to create my server in that particular thing. Is it possible in AWS? Absolutely, that's possible. So let me switch to the AWS, sorry, the US part. Okay, yeah. Now see how it looks like. You take your particular cursor, that particular position, click on it, and just give it a minute. See, all of these things are the region. Just give me, yeah. So all of these are the regions, right? Here you will see these are 10 regions that are not enabled for this particular account. So through this particular account, I could not use this region. So okay, no problem with that. But I have all these kind of things. I am currently in Asia Pacific Mumbai region, right? Okay, this is particularly current my region location, which I am right now. And my particular, client is in the US. So he could be not, I can choose North Virginia or North California, right? Or Ohio, I can choose whatever I want, right? So let's go and let's choose it. Let's click on North Virginia. Let's do that. Let's click on that. Give it a minute and switching it. Just give it a minute. Okay, it will take at least few seconds for to completely. And yeah, we are good. So now I am not in Mumbai region, guys, right? It may look similar, but I am not in Mumbai region. Again, I told you, if you want to verify, just go and see at the right hand side at the top corner, it's now showing North Virginia. So any server that I create here would not be available in the Mumbai region. Remember this thing, okay? It will not get duplicated, right? Like multiple. You can say like the region, a multiple breaking of the AWS platform into multiple pieces. One piece, a second piece, and a third piece. Okay, into multiple pieces. So one region is about Mumbai, another is about this North Virginia, okay, this North, and another is Mumbai. One is about Ohio, another one is about Tokyo, right? So this is how the region look like in the AWS context, right? So now what you will be doing is that, like, I created some kind of server in the Mumbai region, it would not be present in the North Virginia. Okay, I can easily switch within 2-3 clicks. What I can do is that I can switch from this region to any other region. Each piece, each square, right, represent a region. Okay, so you can easily, jump from one region to another, this region to this region, or come back to this region again with just only few clicks, right? And you can deploy a server that. But remember this thing, the servers or the things you will be creating in one region, it would not be replicating in another region. Okay, for that you have to create that particular same thing in another region as well. Remember this thing. Okay, so this is Mumbai region, this is your North Virginia. Anything do you in the Mumbai region would not be happening in North Virginia. You have to do that particular same server in North Virginia as well. Multiple ways are there, definitely, for sure. You can do, use AMI for that, Amazon Machine Image, but that's quite a different thing. Okay, this is it. This is how it looks like in the Mumbai region. Okay, so I can switch it back. It doesn't mean that I have now gone from Mumbai to North Virginia, I cannot come back. Okay, let's do that particular thing as well. Click on North Virginia and click on Mumbai. See, just give it a minute, 2-3 seconds, and yep, we are back. We are back to the Mumbai region. You can go to any region, like let's go to the Ireland. Okay, now we are in the Ireland region. Okay, so let's come back to the Mumbai region. Right, so this easily you can just jump from one particular square that I have shown you, from one particular square to another particular square. But remember this particular thing, anything that you create inside a square remains in that particular square. It will not go to another square, right? In order to access that particular server, you have to be present in that particular, right, thing. Okay, so that's the thing. So this is like the Mumbai region. Okay, this is how it looks like. Now if you click on it, you will seeing at the right hand side, in the left hand side, you will be seeing this, all this, like Asia Pacific, right? They are divided kind region into multiple zone as well, like the US East, North Virginia, US East Ohio, US West, North California, all this thing, right, in the Mumbai Seoul. But the thing to you need to remember is that in your right hand side, in front of Mumbai, it is showing AP South 1, right? So many time in the exam or somewhere in the AWS, when you are doing the hands-on thing, you may encounter like AP South 1. Don't panic. AP South means AP South 1 is the code name of that particular region. It is the code name of the Mumbai. First of all, do not cramp it. You does not need to, cramp it up, right? Like there are multiple regions and AWS keep on adding the region and removing the regions, right? So it does not need to cramp it up. Definitely, for sure. Like many, like I do not know, to be very frank, I do not know this particular, this code of Ireland, right? The region code of the Ireland, or of the London, right? Because I hardly use it. So whenever I want to see what is the, code of it, what I can do, just click on this particular region Mumbai and you can just look into it. That's it. Does not need to cramp it on something like that. Okay. Mostly I use North Virginia and Mumbai region, to be very frank, right? Why North Virginia? Because in AWS, there is a thing that when any new kind of services comes into this AWS, they are not uniformly present in each and every region. Like there is Singapore, there is Seoul, Sydney. It will not be present in everywhere. Some regions would be there where it would be first launched, right? And then it would be spreading up to the rest of the regions, right? So North Virginia is those kind of regions where there is a huge possibility, not a guarantee. There is nothing, any kind of statement from the AWS. But from my particular experience, I have seen that AWS has, a kind of They kind of do that. They kind of deploy or provide the service in some certain part of the region. You can go there and experiment it, no problem with that. Okay, and then they will try to figure it out if this it's fine in that particular region, it's working fine. Based on the feedback, then they will be continuing and providing that particular same service to the rest of the regions. Like recently there was a kind of service which was related to the machine learning and AI, and when it was initially launched, it was not present to the rest of the region. It was not presented. Only North Virginia and I think Sydney was having that particular. Only this two region it was there for at least a week. Then it what it did is that then it started to providing it to the Seoul, Osaka, Mumbai, and all the other part. Okay, so that keep on happening, and it can. So that's the reason why I choose North Virginia, because it has high probability that any new service which like I want to show in my particular batch, the demonstration of that particular service, there's a huge possibility that that particular service would be present. Not possibility, not a guarantee, but a huge possibility that that particular service would be present in North Virginia. Okay, that's the thing. So you can easily switch it. So I've shown you this particular thing that you're seeing in front of you. Okay, right? At the left hand side, in front of the region, Mumbai, AP South 1, right? AP Northeast 2. So wherever you see AP Northeast 3, it means Osaka. AP Northeast 2, it means Seoul, right? US East 1, it means the North Virginia. Okay, this is the region code, and these are all the regions. And these, right here it is written, there are 10 regions which are not enabled for this account. So these are the regions, right? This is in Europe, this Middle East, all these regions which I cannot access through this particular my account. Okay, if I want to do that, I want to contact to the AWS center. For that I want to raise a kind of a flag, and they will be contacting me, and then I will be resolving that particular issue, and then they will be resolving that particular issue, and then I'm good. Okay, but I do not kindly use this all the kinds this particular region, so I'm not worried about it. Mostly Mumbai and North Virginia I use. Okay, so this is how the AWS architecture looks like, right? You are if we're familiar with the region part. Okay, this is how the regions look like, and inside this region you would be having multiple zones. Okay, remember this thing. Inside this particular region, you will be having multiple availability zones would be presented. At least three are present, right? Last time I have seen it, I think it was three in the Mumbai region. Three availability zones were there, and in North Virginia, I think five availability zones were there. Okay, so how it would be, numbered? How you can even find it out? It would be shown like it was AP South 1, so it would be like AP South 1A, AP South 1B, AP South 1C. So this is how it look like, right? So AP South 1, AP South 1 is the region code of Mumbai, and A means the A availability, the first availability zone. B means the second availability zone, and C means the third availability zone. This is how you will be seeing it. Okay, whenever you will be seeing an availability zone, this is how you will be seeing it. First the region, and then whichever availability zone it's A, B, C, D, sometimes E and F is there also. Okay, it's vary from region to region. Okay, then inside those availability zone there are data centers. Fine, this is it. So this is the complete architecture infrastructure of your AWS. Okay, this is how the AWS looks like, divided into three parts: region, zone, and data center. Data center is the building block of it, right? And multiple data centers combined together to form availability zone. Availability zone combined together to form you know this region, and multiple region combined together to form this global giant infrastructure of the AWS, right? Okay, one more thing guys, I forgot. Many people when they are very new to this AWS part, What they did is that what they will be doing is that they will be going to the Mumbai region and creating some servers, right? Like 2 3 servers they created based upon the requirement, right? And then they switch to the North Virginia region. Okay, then they switch to the North Virginia region, and now they are start working there and creating servers, some 3 to 5 servers there. They forgot that a server is 3 or 5 servers are running in the Mumbai region. There is no way through which you will be able to find out that how many servers are running in this particular region. Like just looking into this particular console, you are never going to know that how many servers are running in this particular region. So what is going to happen? This 3 4 5 servers are running, okay, and you are not aware about it. If you are aware about it and you thought that okay, boss, no problem with that, I'm fine with this 3 to 5 servers running. Definitely, you will be charged for that. But most of the time, what happens? People accidentally they are not habitual to this particular architecture, to this particular console. So what really happens is that they kind of forgot it that there is server running, and this 3 to 5 servers would be keep on running all night, and next morning you are being you know charged with a huge amount of cost. Okay, this is it. So remember this thing in AWS. We have and one more best thing is that there is a thing which is called the free tier one. Okay, just let me explain you that as well. There's something called the free tier one. Free tier is a kind of server. It means that if you are very new to the AWS, like today you created an AWS account. Okay, so you have created an AWS account. So from till 1 year, some of the, not every services, but some of the services you will be provided by the AWS, which will be free of cost. Definitely certain limitations would be there for that as well, but AWS is what is going to do that. AWS will be providing that particular service free of cost, right? So this is it. Okay, so keep this particular all these particular points in mind, right? The free tier one, the location of the region where you are working, right? All these kind of things keep in mind. Otherwise, you are going to be charged for that as well. I have seen people who have done mistake and they have been charged 60,000 and more Indian rupees than that. Okay, and that's a huge. They have created some kind of a server at the very initial stage, and they are not familiar about it. They forgot to turn it off, and then at the end of the month you are being provided charged to 60,000 rupees, and that's a huge thing. For this we have budget and all those kind of things, multiple things are there which we are not going to discuss. But there are some kind of an instrument which will be telling you, not stopping it, but telling you that there is a kind of a budget you have created and you have exceeded at the budget. Like we have a budget for there is state budget, right? There is like uh, but kind of a budget also, union budget is there, okay, which is uh, provided by the central government in India, right? So all these kind of budgets are there. So same way you can create a budget, right? And any if it exceeds the budget, if the your resource utilization or your cost exceeds that particular budget, alert would be sent to your email ID, one or multiple email IDs. See, that particular thing would be sent to you, right? And through that, based upon that particular alert, you will be taking the action, whatever action you want. Okay, that's it. So all these kind of things are very, very important. Okay, so now let's talk about security group in AWS. There are few terms that you guys need to understand. Like I have told you, servers are called the instances. Remember, servers normally, which we call, the terms we use server, okay, they are in the AWS terminology, they are called the instance, okay, and firewall in AWS is called the security group. That's it. That is the difference, right? That's the only difference. Firewall is called the security group. Okay, so if you see anywhere it is saying security group in AWS, it means that it's talking about the firewall, right? Nothing else, just a fancy name, I would say. not any kind of a difference. So servers are called your instance and firewalls are called your security group in AWS, in the context of AWS. And remember, it varies from vendor to vendor. So doesn't mean, so like servers are called, you know, in AWS it's called the instance, in GCP it would be something else, in Oracle it would be something else, in Azure it would be something else. So it completely varies from vendor to vendor as well. Okay, this is it. So here it is written, the AWS security group, it's a virtual firewall that controls inbound and outbound traffic. So anything, if you're not familiar with that firewall, so if this is your particular server, okay, and this is your firewall which you have created, so any incoming traffic which wants to access this particular thing, it will be kind of, controls the inbound which is coming inside, right? Or whether anything which is leaving the system or network, internal network, or anything, any traffic which is coming, accessing, coming to your particular internal network, right? Which is called inbound, or from your internal network, anything is going to outside world is called the outbound, right? So it's kind of control it, right? It can control it. You can set different kind of parameters. You can set different kind of rules and regulations in place to, based upon that, the firewall would be working. So if you have said to the firewall that this is a range of the IP, or this is particular IP that you need to block, so anything, okay, just yeah, so like if this is your particular firewall, right, and if any traffic is coming, and you in this particular firewall, what you have done is that you have created the rule that this particular IP or range of this IP should be blocked, so it will not let it pass. Okay, it will kind of, a guard in front of it, and it will not let that particular person access the resources, okay, that particular server, and it will be protected. Okay, this is the thing. This is the main function, just an overview about the firewall. It's control the inbound and outbound traffic to the AWS resources, right? Particularly EC2 and RDB database, all this kind of thing, right? And it, you know, and it kind of act as a virtual barrier that allows only specific traffic to access the AWS resources and block any authorized access, unauthorized access. Okay, so definitely you can also create by yourself some kind of rules as well. So if you think that this particular IP address is malicious and I does not want my um, you know my employees in my organization to access that particular thing, what you can do, you can block it, right? So any other individual who is sitting inside inside their internal network, and you is accessing that particular thing, the firewall would be blocking that particular person from accessing that particular website. It will be blocking it as well. And any other person who is sitting over the internet and he wants to access into your respective resources, who want to access your particular service resources, AWS will check the rule whether that particular firewall is blocked or not, and it will be blocking it. Okay, this is the thing about the firewall. And in AWS, again, I'm telling you, in the AWS, we call the firewall the security group. Remember this thing. Okay, just let me show you how it looks like. Just in overview, I'm providing. Okay, okay, and hands-on one. Just let me switch to the AWS part. So what you need to do is that you click on the EC2 part and just see multiple things are there in the EC2 as well. So here you will see something which is called the security group. Let me draw it that as well for you to see. See here, this is the security group. Okay, so what you need to do is that you need to click on the security group, and it will be providing with all the security groups, right? And you can attach that particular security group to a server, okay, or an instance. In the language of the AWS, there is nothing which is called the server. There's thing which is called the instance, right? So let me click into the security group and let me show it. See, all these kind of security groups are there. These are all the security groups, right? And you can name them as well. Okay, these are the group ID and all this kind of thing. So let's check. Okay, so I want to go and get an idea about the security group, about this particular firewall. What are the inbound rule and outbound rule? Okay, so let's click on it. See here, it's detail. Scroll down the detail part, and here you will see inbound and outbound rule. Inbound rule, see, this is kind of, they have set a rule that if it's an RDP, IPv4, right, or TCP from anywhere, you will be allowed to access it. Okay, this is an outbound rule. Scroll down, all traffic, anybody from anywhere inside the internal network can access it. Go and access any kind of website. So this is how the security groups look like in the AWS, right? Just an overview. Definitely a lot of more things are there, but just an overview how it looks like from where you can access it. And you all you need to do is that you need to select it, scroll down, and here we will be seeing inbound and outbound rules, and you can make changes. And based on that, for this particular firewall would be, you know, allowing the traffic or discarding the traffic. Now, there are, again, I told you there are multiple things the AWS charge you for that, okay, for using their respective resources. So the AWS do not charge you, remember this thing again, that AWS do not charge you for, AWS do not charge you for creating security groups. You can create as many security group as you want. Right now I see I have 26 security groups. You can create as many security group as you want, right? As many as you want. Okay, AWS is not going to charge you a single penny for that. Okay, this is it. This is about the security group in the AWS. Okay, so now let's move to the next topic, which is your serverless architecture. Okay, the serverless architecture. So definitely the serverless architecture doesn't mean, um, it's a cloud computing model. What happens in there, the cloud provider manages the infrastructure and automatically provision and scale the computing resources based on the actual resource of the application. So what it happens in the serverless architecture is servers are still present there. Okay, servers are not, you can not say that servers are not there. Servers are not there, but the user or the particular person, he's not able to see that. Okay, that's just serverless architecture in the context of the AWS, and a very beautiful resource is there, service particularly dedicated for that, which is called AWS Lambda, which you will be using it. So let me tell you what is this particular AWS Lambda, just an overview about it. All right, and just will be showing you how, you know how it looks like actually inside the AWS. So serverless architecture means there would be no server. Okay, I mean, there would be no server that you will be managing. There would be server which it's a headache of the AWS, right? It's not your headache, right? It is the headache of the right? That what it is. So what happened here is this in the serverless architecture is that what you do, you kind of have a trigger in place, right? You have a trigger in place. Whenever that particular demand of the trigger is, done, a certain kind of application or certain kind of code executed. So you need two things for this server architecture. Definitely you does not need to worry about the server, but there are two things which you need to worry about. The first is your trigger, and the second is your code. Okay, this is it. So let me show you this how it looks like, and it's the service I'm going to show you this AWS Lambda. Okay, just give me a minute and let me switch to my AWS account. Okay guys, so this is how the AWS Lambda looks like, right? And one more thing before going ahead with the AWS Lambda, if you want to see all the services which are present in the AWS, what you will doing is that at the right hand side, okay, so like, wait a minute, this was the AWS console that I was showing you about. Okay, and what you will doing is that click on the services, and see all the services are present there, all this one. So these at the right hand side, all the services sorry, at the left hand side you're seeing, like there is analytics, and application integration, there's AR and VR, AWS cost management, blockchain, business application, compute, containers, database, all these kind of things are there, right? So these are kind of a catalog. So like in the robotics, this is a kind of service which is related to the robotics. If you want to use about the compute, you click on the compute, all these kind of things which you are seeing at the right hand side, the batch, EC2 image builder, lambda, see, run code without thinking about server, which is I'm going to show you, right? Light snail, AWS outpost, AWS sim space weaver, right? Game development. So it's kind of, catalog is present at the left hand side, and the moment you click on, based upon your perspective requirement, the moment you click on that particular server or catalog, you are at the right hand side, you will be provided with the services. Okay, so this is kind of organization they have done to for you to easily find out the services. Like I click on the compute part and I see the lambda, so it comes under the computing part, all these elastic beanstalk, EC2, all these kind of things, right? And a little bit of a kind of a summary is written there, like virtual server in the cloud. Okay, lambda run code without thinking about the server. And if you want to access every service, you does not want to just catalog thing, but you can also do that, click on all services and see at the right hand side, now they have categorized the services in alphabetic order. So this is A, and you scroll down, see E, F, G, H, all they have this kind of categorized at the alphabetic order, right? X-ray, workspace, right? This is how they have done it. Okay, FT, yeah, all of the services are right. At least there are 200 to 300 services which are present in the AWS. So the question arises, do you need to learn about each and every service? The answer is no. It completely depends upon your respective requirement, right? The job roles that you are having, which one to choose, right? It's completely dependent upon that. So it does not need to learn about everything. Like, see, there are services which are related to the blockchain. There are services which are related to the AWS cost management. Okay, there are services which are related to the blockchain as well. Like, let's see, click on the blockchain. See, Amazon managed blockchain and the compute and the containers, right? There's a Kubernetes or container services, then development tools. So it does not need to learn about each and every one based upon your requirement, your job role. Okay, this is the you need to learn about those kind of services only, right? That's the thing. Now, okay, this is how you access all of the services. And there's another way you can do is that you can just click on this search part and type, see, just type it and it will figure it out, lambda run code without thinking about it. Just click on it and just let's wait a minute. So this is how the AWS lambda would be looking. This is how the console of AWS lambda is. You click on the dashboard, right? Firstly telling you create a function, all those kind of things are there, right? You can, what you can do is you can create the function, right? So function is, okay, let's see, let's go and create a code, right? See, authorize from the scratch, function name, anything, and create the function, and let's wait, right? So what you will do, see here, you can do, I have created a function. Function means the piece of code. Remember this thing, right? What I'm doing is that function is the piece of the code. So what you will see here, you can see that I can, you know, see, this is particularly, okay, let me increase the size of my screen for you to see. This is the piece of code which will be running. Okay, so it does not need to worry about server and all those kind of things. This particular code would be running. So would it be running every time 24/7? Like that, my server would be running open 24/7. So will this particular code, piece of code would be running 24/7? No. There would be something which is called the trigger. When the trigger sense that this particular thing has happened, like for example, the moment somebody comes to your particular, goes to that particular file and tries to delete it, you will be getting an alert that, Amit, there is someone who is deleting your particular file. So when that particular, so it not every time sending a notification, only at that particular moment of time when somebody is trying and going there and right clicking at that particular file or folder and just clicking on the delete. The moment somebody clicks on the delete, a notification is generated and sent to me that somebody is trying to get in. So that's the trigger. The moment there is a trigger, okay, then definitely there would be a situation that I have to enter as well. I have to create a trigger as well. So, and I have to send the trigger and assign and configure the trigger as well. So the moment that there is some kind of trigger happens, this particular code would be running. Or I could, this is kind of a default code which is provided by the AWS. I can code by myself. But the thing is that you should be good at coding. Okay, and the JSON. It is particularly the language it will be using is the JSON, right? So you should be good at coding the JSON. You will be writing a particular piece of code, or you can go to the multiple, websites are present over the internet. You can go to them, right? You can go to that particular websites, and what you can do is that from that particular websites, you can retrieve all your information, a piece of code, but you should have an understanding how that particular code is working. That's very important, right? Otherwise you will be in big trouble. Okay, so this is a piece of a code. You can make your changes based upon your requirement. So this is a piece of a code. You can test it. You will see here, this is here it is written test. So what's the meaning of it? The moment you write any piece of a code here and you want to find out if this test this code would be creating any kind of an error when it will be running, or there would any kind of an issue would be there, the moment you click on the text part, this test part, it will be running that particular piece of code here, and you are good to go. You will be easily able to find out whether that particular piece of code is running or not. So you does not need to worry about till the end. Here only you can test your particular code. So you can either code by yourself, you can buy that particular code, or go over the internet and you just cut, copy and paste the code. Okay, whatever you want. But the code, remember this thing, the language of the code should be JSON, right? And this is a kind of feature. If you're confident about your code, you think that okay, no issue with my code, do not test it, no problem with that. If you test it, if you'll be telling you the code would be running, it will be telling you that everything is okay, everything is fine, or if there is any kind of a problem, you will be able to figure it out here only. If you're working in an organization and you're deploying this kind of thing, definitely this particular button of test is very important and very useful to you. Okay, this is it, right? So this is it. So just scroll down and you will be able to see it, right? And see here, it is here written add trigger. You click on this add trigger, okay, and you click on the source part. See Alexa, even Alexa is there, okay. So the moment you click on Alexa and connect your particular respective Alexa to it, the moment you said any kind of a command, it kind of a trigger is happening. And the moment you say like uh, you know Alexa delete this file, okay, the moment this kind Alexa pick this particular line, delete this file, this kind of a trigger. The moment this word, the Alexa here, that would this particular code would be executed. Whatever this particular code would be there, this particular code would be executed, right? So this is your add, sorry, this is your trigger, as well as this is your function, or you can say your piece of code. So this is your serverless architecture, what it means. You does not need to worry about everything, right? See, previously what was happening before this thing was that, what was the reason behind, before this serverless architecture, what was happening, like there's a customer who is coming to your particular website, like you have a kind of a website, e-commerce website, okay, and you are deploying that particular website in your particular cloud, okay, and it's running 24/7, and you are paying AWS this particular 24/7. You're paying, and definitely it's running 24/7, so definitely for sure you will be charged for that as well, right? Okay, but you think that okay boss, right? See, at in a complete entire day, in 24 hours, only 100 customers are coming, right? And not at the same time, at some regular time, like one is coming at 9 a.m, then some at 11 p.m, then another one is coming at 2:30 p.m. Okay, at different intervals or different timing they are coming. And why I'm running the server 24/7? It's a huge thing, right? Okay, only 100 or 10 customers are coming and I'm running the servers for complete day. I'm at huge lost it. So to resolve this particular thing, AWS come up with a thing which is called AWS Serverless Architecture. In this particular thing, I'm showing you Lambda one. Lambda, okay, this is kind of service which is for AWS Serverless Architecture. What happens in a Lambda part is that you will be only charged when your this particular piece of code is executed, nothing else. So you have things, this particular you have created it, you have entered your code, right? And you have attached your trigger, okay? And the moment a particular server, you have deployed it, everything is fine, you have deployed your code, you have deployed your trigger. Now what happens the moment somebody, your customers comes, right? For example, now as a customer which comes at 9 a.m, right? And he kind of purchase something, so then definitely there would be a trigger would be generated as somebody is there, and a code would be executed. And the duration of the code, like for example the code was running for 5 minutes, you will be charged for 5 minutes, not 24/7. Only you will be charged for the duration for where your code was running, not for the complete entire period. Only for the time when the code was generated and the code was running, and the code was will only be running when there would be trigger. Okay, this is it. Now let's talk about something which is called the EC2, right? So something talked about something which is called the EC2, and let me show you that particular thing as well, right? See, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the theory part, and then I will be showing you the practical one as well. Okay, so EC2. So Amazon, its full form is Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, right? So it's a web service that provides resellable computing capacity to the cloud. So it's in short, what it means is that through this particular service, which is present in the AWS, what you can do, you can create multiple servers. Okay, what you can do is that in this EC2, what you can do, you can create multiple server. And what was the name of the thing, or the in language of the AWS, what we call them? We call them instant. Okay, so don't panic whenever you say anything which is name of instant. Instant means servers only. Fine. Yeah. So this is the thing with the EC2. EC2 is used for creating the servers. Okay, this is what the job or the role of this particular EC2 is all about, right? Okay, now let's do some hands-on thing. Click on your home button. Okay, this home, yeah. See here EC2, but how you will be doing is that type here EC2, right? Recently I have used the EC2, so that's why it's showing the recently visited. If you will be new to the AWS platform, you will not, there's a huge possibility you will not see any one of it, like the Amazon Inspector, Guard Duty, Config. All of these are services which are kind of an advanced one. But how you need to do is that you need to click on EC2. Click on the EC2 part. So click on it. See, and if here you have written EC2, and the AWS has figured out EC2 is provided with EC2 image builder, Amazon Inspector, AWS firewall things. Here you will see, if you scroll down a little bit, see resources you have been provided. Blogs are there also as well, right? See, blogs are being built EC2 image builder, container image locally. You can read this blog as well. You can see documentations are also there, knowledge articles, right? Tutorials is also there, event marketing, multiple things are there. Okay, but we are not going to that. We are going to just click on the EC2 part. Okay, so remember this thing, EC2 is a service provided by the AWS for creating the server. A lot of things are also there, but you are at very beginning, at a very initial stage. So remember this thing, it's for creating the server. So this would be how the console would look like for the EC2. Now we are inside the EC2, right? See here I am inside the EC2 dashboard. And the first thing that I told you, the thumb rule, remember the region. We are in the region, Mumbai region. Okay, we are in the Mumbai region, right? So what I need to do is that first of all, look into this particular button, right? Before teaching you anything else, I need to first to tell you about this particular button. This is a very, very important part. This one, it's the refresh, right? It may look like very simple and an ordinary one, which it is actually, but the thing is that this refresh button holds, it's very, very important. It's very, very crucial.
The moment you will be adding something, right, in AWS, you will be adding something, creating something, I mean, or subtracting something, or means removing something. So you are creating a server or you are removing a server. Definitely when you create something or you remove something, anything, any file folders you have added, or you are removing anything, what you need to do is that click on the refresh button and you are good to go, right? So it will be helping me refreshing it. Okay, this is it. So that it's a very small simple thing but very very powerful. Otherwise, trust me, you will be getting confused that I am creating server, I have created multiple server, but still it's showing me zero. So let me just provide you a general idea about this dashboard. Wait a minute and just let me raise it. Yeah, see, let's see this particular part I'm talking. I want you to focus on this particular piece, this particular part. Okay, so here it's instance running, it is zero. It means in Mumbai region, remember this thing, in the Mumbai region I have no instance. It means instance means, guys, what is the meaning of instance in AWS? So AWS means sorry, the instance means servers. So I am having no, okay, so what I'm going to do is that before it, just wait, yeah, before this anything, refresh on it. It's refreshing. Okay, fine. Now I've refreshed it. In the instance running, I have zero instance. It means that in the Mumbai region, the instance is running is zero, right? All this dedicated host of different kind of thing is there. Instance is zero, load balancer zero, security groups 26, 26 security groups are there. Okay, 25 are I have created, 25 security groups I have created. One is the default security group. So when you will be signing into AWS account, you have not done any, not created any kind of security group or anything like that. Do not worry, So definitely by default, there would be a security group. Okay. And remember this thing, guys. Okay, let's just show me that thing as well. All of you. It's a very, very important thing. Yeah, see, this is a security group that I've shown you previously. This, you scroll down, these kind of security groups are there. Out of these security groups, there would be a default security groups. Okay, you can delete every, like 26 security groups are there. In my case, they are 26. Okay, total 26. Definitely 25 I have created, and first is the default one, right? You can delete this 25 one, no problem with that. Upon your requirement, AWS will not be charging you, no problem with that. Okay, so you can keep it from once I have created it and I have not deleted it. AWS will not charge you even a single penny. Don't worry about that part. Okay, you have to first of all remember this thing. AWS will be charging about what kind of resources and you know what kind of resources he will not be charging. So security group he will not be charging. For creating firewall he will not be charging. Okay, remember this thing. But this particular one, which is already by default there, do not delete it. Okay, definitely the moment you will be go and try to delete it, the possibility is that AWS will be saying that okay, no, you cannot delete it because it's a default security group and multiple things like that. But somehow, right, by mistake it happens, right, then you are in big trouble. Okay, you will be facing a lot of issue in this particular region. Don't worry, in not in complete AWS account you will be facing it. What you can do is that you can switch your region, but the problem would be limited to this particular Mumbai region only. It will not be you know propagating to other regions, right? So that, so don't default delete the default this security group. You will be getting an error, definitely, for sure. The moment you will be trying to delete it, you will be getting an error. So select here, okay, and click on the actions. You will be seeing a delete and delete it, and that's it. No problem with that. Not an issue, not a big issue. Okay, this is it. Now, okay, so I've done the EC2. Now, in the EC2, this is how it looks like, right? The volumes I told you. Let me tell you that volume is the storage where you keep something, right? Like as your pen drive, okay, right? Storage is your pen drive, right? Your SSD, okay, your HDD, right? All these kind of things are your volumes. Volume is the place in AWS where you keep your data. Okay, this is the thing, right? Okay, so let me remove this particular thing. Yeah, That EBS yesterday I told you about, the EBS is the part of this volume because we have multiple types of volumes present. EBS is one of those volumes. Okay. There's something which is key pair, elastic, and different thing, and related to the backup as well. See, because I told you that the benefit we have in the cloud is that we have something for the backup. When you are in the on premises, you are, you are completely struggling with the backup part. Okay. But when you are in the cloud, you does not need to worry about. See here, you are seeing here something which is called the name of snapshot. Snapshot is a thing which will help you, in creating the backup. Snapshot means again backup. This AWS, what they have done is that they have kind of, created their own terminologies. For instance, okay, just let me revise. Yeah, servers. There are servers. They call them instance. Firewall, they call them security group, SG, security group. Backups, they call it snapshot. That's it, just a fancy name, right? You can just, I would recommend that where you guys are very new to the field of this particular cloud, what you can do is that you can write this particular thing in a piece of, sticky note somewhere, and whatever whenever you want to revise it, you can just look into it. Okay. Once you get habitual to it, no problem with that. Okay. So this is, and volume means your particular storage, any kind of storage. Okay. What you can relate to, like a particular but your permanent storage, right? Remember this thing, there is a volatile and the non-volatile one. Okay, remember that particular one, only where it state even after the machine switches off. So, right, volume is about storage part. It has both volatile as well as the non-volatile one, volatile as well as the non-volatile one inside it. Okay, so it means volume means the storage part. So volume storage, and this, backup means snapshot, right? Firewalls means security group, server means instance. That's it. It varies from vendor to vendor. So if you will be switching and going to the Azure or the GCP, there's a huge possibility, and definitely for sure these terminologies would be changing. Azure would be calling the servers with something a different name. The Oracle would be calling with different name. The that particular Google GCP would be calling with a different name. Okay, that's a possibility, but no difference is there. Firewall is just a firewall, normal firewall, inbound outbound rules. Definitely multiple types of firewalls are there. Okay, but security groups is the firewall. Okay, this is how the terminologies are very, very important. Okay, this is how the console of the EC2 looks like. Okay, so now let me show you. Let's just give you a little bit of a overview about how to create an instance, how to create a server. Just going to show you that particular part. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So how to do that? Scroll down. Here you will see launch instance. But remember this thing. Before clicking on the launch instance, again, you will be thinking that why I'm keep on repeating this thing. Trust me, I have seen people doing mistakes, and I do not want you to do that, right? Because at the very early stage, when you are very new to this particular field, there's a huge possibility that you can do the mistakes. So that's why I'm keep on emphasizing this thing. Keep an eye on the region. What is the region? Mumbai. Okay, remember this particular thing. We are doing the hands-on thing. We are doing the practical part in the Mumbai region. Okay, so whatever we do, wherever we delete, create, modify, do anything, destroy anything, create anything, it will be limited to this Mumbai region only. It will not, leak into another region. The another regions would not be, get affected by it in a positive or a negative way. Anyway, okay, even I completely, in this particular region, I completely destroy the security group somehow default. I will not be able to. There would a lot of problems would be there, errors would be there. Okay, I do go to the VPC part and I deletes my default subnets, still I'm going to face some kind of problem. So it will not be that particular problem would not be propagating to the other regions. Okay, so these. So region is Mumbai. Keep an eye on to it, right? Keep an eye into it. Mumbai region. Click on that launch instance. Click on launch instance. Wait a minute. Okay, just give it a minute. Okay. Yeah. So this is how now I'm showing you how to create an instance. Name of the instance, right? Name of the instance, like okay, say like okay, let's name it one, right? Now let's name it one. You're seeing here additional tags. Tags are your bookmarker. You can think like the tags are your bookmarker. If you like, there are two instances, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what you can do is that you can create kind of a bookmarker. Okay, you can categorize them like this particular server is for, you know, DevOps teams. This particular server is for your network part. This another server for demonstration. So you can do is you can tag a tag, and it will definitely in an organization, it will really help you in figuring out or uh, organizing things, right? That's the power of the tag. Okay, so just move it. Yeah. So name of the tag, right? Name of the tag. Sorry, name of the server. The server, which or the instance. See, instance. They have written instance. They have not written the server. Same thing. Okay. And one more thing. If you forgot something, that what it's all about, there is something which is called the info. Click on that and just see. Welcome to the new and improved experience quick technology GV. Right, it will tell you a lot of the information about this thing. Okay, what is name and tag and all this kind of thing. You can get information, you can read it afterwards. Right, so click on this one. Right, you scroll down an application in OS. You will see is something which is called your catalogs. Right? There is Debian, there is Linux, there is Red Hat, there is Windows, Ubuntu, Mac OS, and Amazon Linux. These are the catalogs. So what it means is that it means like if I click on Windows, so inside like in the Windows, so inside below the Windows, I will be having multiple options available. Okay, it will be providing me the multiple options. So okay, so I have to choose any one of them. Now, I was previously telling you guys about something which is called the free trial eligible. Remember this thing, guys? I was telling you previously there is something which is called the free tier eligible. Okay? Free tier eligible means that there are certain, you know, things which AWS provides you for free of cost for 1 year. So, like today is 5th of April 2023. So if you create an AWS account today, yeah. So if there's what is happening here is this. So if like today you create an AWS account, okay? If you create an AWS account today, like in 5th April 2023, so till 5th of April 2024, you will be provided with something which is called the free tier eligible. You can use the services for free of cost, okay? Can use it for free of cost. You will not be charged for that. Okay, remember this thing. So I've clicked on the AW, this my Windows part. Click on the this thing and scroll down a little bit and see I have multiple options in place. Multiple options. Okay, multiple options I have placed. So I only click on those things which have says free tier eligible. Only that's one. See, free tier eligible, free tier eligible, free tier eligible. Only those I can use. I can use another one as well. Like, see, here is it written Microsoft Windows Server 2019 with SQL Server and all this kind of thing. Right? I can use this as well, but I will be charged for that because you see in the right hand side there is nothing written with a free tier. So free tier, if it's written, you choose it, you are not going to pay for it. Okay, remember this thing. And it's in order to be eligible for free tier, your account should be older than 1 year. The moment the particular duration of 1 year expires, now you will not be provided with free tier things. Okay, right? So this is the thing. So I will be choosing it. I have chosen this particular thing. Okay, guys, you will be asking me what is this, right? What is this particular quick start? And this here it is written Amazon machine image, right? So this AMI, Amazon machine image, is the operating system. Remember this thing, guys, right? AMI, as I already told you, instance is a server, firewall is a security group, volume is any kind of a storage, backup is snapshot, and the AMI is the operating system. Definitely, any kind of server or any kind of machine which you will be using, no matter for what thing or what purpose you are using, for scientific work, for any kind of creation, deletion, or creating the logs, anything you're using it, definitely for that particular machine to work properly, there would be some kind of an operating system which you will be using. Whether that operating system would be Linux, or whether that would be Mac OS. You have even the option of Mac OS also. You can click on it and see it will be providing you with the options. So click on it. We have three options of the Mac OS, right? Mac OS Monterey 12.63. Okay, so all these kind of options are there. So I'm sticking to the Windows part. Okay, just wait a minute. Yeah, see, multiple options are there for the Windows. Okay, so this is a thing. But remember this thing, this free tier one. So AMI is the operating system. In order for the machine to work properly, you should have an operating system. So that's why the first thing is that first thing what we did, we created a name. Okay, there was an option with a tag. Definitely based upon your requirement, definitely I would highly recommend, if you are working in an organization, definitely create a tag for your instance or any kind of services you will be seeing. But definitely for this demonstration purpose, I'm not creating any tag. Just a bookmarker, that's it. There's not any fancy thing is not there. Okay, you scroll down and then you meet thing this particular catalog which we want to choose from: Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, anything, right? This is it.
Okay, this is it. So now what we're going to see is there in the Windows part, in the Microsoft part, you will scroll down and you will see here multiple things. So free tier eligible, free tier eligible. Okay, right? So only choose the free tier eligible one. Otherwise, you will be charged for that. So I have already selected this. See here, this is how it will be looking like: Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base, free tier eligible. Fine. Now, if you scroll down here, you will be seeing something which is called verified provider. Right? You seeing here verified provider. What's the meaning of it? Verified provider. Why it's so important? Why is I'm just selecting an operating system? Okay, they have provided me the choice that, Amit, do you want to choose from Linux, whether you want to choose from um, Mac OS or Ubuntu or anything. I said I want to choose from Windows. So the moment I click on Windows, it will provide me the multiple options present in the Windows. Okay, now, yeah, now I scroll down, it's telling me this Windows server which I have selected, fill location, English, and email provided by Amazon. It is this something which is called verified provider. Okay, this particular thing I'm talking about, and it's a very important thing. It may look very small, okay, but it hold a very important importance. So what is this? What is this verified provider actually? It means, like for example, it has been used by the this particular, definitely this Microsoft Windows is been product of the Microsoft. So definitely AWS is the about Amazon. So Amazon has brought this particular thing kind of license on the Microsoft. So they have reached to the genuine person, genuine vendor, Microsoft, for their particular Windows Server 2022 full location, and Microsoft will provide with to the Amazon. That what it means. So what if it's not the verified provider? What it means? Like for example, many people, like in particular in India, are very fancy, or across the globe are. I've seen people who are very enthusiastic about playing game. Recently, there is a game with the name of God of War, Ragnarok, right? And definitely, for if you go in the Indian term, it's I think 7 to 8 thousand rupees in the PS5 you are getting it for it. Okay, and that's a huge money. Just for a game, definitely 7 to 8 thousand rupees Indian rupees you are spending for a piece of a game. Okay, many people would be saying that it would be hell of an expensive. So what you can do is that you can go to some kind of websites are there, multiple websites are there, okay, torrent websites are there and other kind of websites are there. You can go there, that particular websites, and download the same game, exact same game, right? Okay, everything is fine with that game. You can download that particular thing with that particular game. Okay, but there is a possibility. What is the problem? Like for example, this is a website where the particular game with the name of God of War Ragnarok is that. Okay, this is thing. Now what you did is that You downloaded a particular game, but the problem here is that because this particular location from where you have downloaded that particular software is not a genuine one. That's kind of third party, or it's kind of a torrent or something like that. So this is that particular game, genuine game, plus some kind of ransomware or malware or malicious code like a virus, Trojan, anything like that also comes with it. So the moment you will be installing this particular game in your respective PC, this malware, this virus, ransomware would be running and would be encrypting every bit of an information. They will be encrypting every, if it's a ransomware, okay, so it will be encrypting every bit of information, and they will be asking you for some kind of a ransomware. Or if it's a virus, it will be spreading, corrupting your files, stealing your files, and multiple kinds of malwares are there. So it will be creating a lot of problems. Your operating system could fail. you, you know they could steal your information. All those kind of things can be there. If your particular device can be converted into a bot, okay, all those kind of things could be there. So that's why to resolve that particular problem, that's why you need to go and purchase from a verified vendor. Definitely advantage is going to any kind of a torrent or any kind of other websites is that you get that particular game, which for that you have to pay 6 to 7,000 rupees. You will be getting free of cost, but the problem or the possibility is that some kind of virus could be there, okay, for that particular game. The moment you will be downloading that particular thing, the virus would be getting downloaded. And that particular thing is a huge thing. Okay, right? That's the thing. So to resolve that particular, because it's a very huge problem, right? It's a very huge problem across the globes, right? If you want to watch any kind of a movie or a web series, many people, if they are not able to afford it or they do not want to purchase any kind of subscription, if they think like many of my friends, they keep on saying to me that if you are giving this particular reason that for a safety or security purposes, there are multiple services, like there is a kind of web series would be there which would be present in like your Disney Plus. Okay, there's any other kind of a web series which you will be liking, it will be present in Netflix. The another would be present it for Hulu. Okay, multiple are there. Okay, so you cannot go and there's Amazon Prime as well. So you cannot go and each and every one this and keep on taking a subscription annual or a monthly basis. It would be huge. So it's best to go to some another torrent website and download it. But the risk is still there. Okay, risk, the greed of free could lead you in it could be disastrous. And if you're thinking from point of view of an organization which deals with sensitive data, which deals with the data of the patients, which deals with the data of you know if it's an organization which deals with it's related to the banking sector and all this kind of thing, right? What would I recommend? I would recommend go and purchase to 6 to 7,000 rupees. That's what I would recommend, right? I've seen the worst case scenarios. I've seen organization, you know, getting ransomware attack and all those kind of things. So I would recommend go and purchase 7,000 rupees or in all those kind of things, right? I know it would be an expensive thing, but in a long term, it would be very beneficial for you. Otherwise, if there is any kind of a malware or something like that, and it starts stealing information from your particular PCs, you are going to be in big trouble, guys. Trust me. Okay. If you're definitely from a particular personal point of view, you will be saying that, okay, boss, no problem. All right. I have no photos. I have 2, 3 photos of my family members, right? From some family festivals or something like that, you know, anything like that. And that particular images is leaked and I'm not worried about it. But that's not the case in the organization. It would be much more, massive from a context of an organization. That's the reason. Okay. That's why. That's why this particular simple thing, what it means, this verified provider. It means that this particular Microsoft Windows server is from a genuine person. Okay, that is not from third party. It is from a genuine person. So the question can arise: Can Amit, are there any different kind of operating? So AMI is an operating system, guys. Okay, remember this thing. Like the instance, the server, AMI is an operating system. So you would maybe asking that, Amit, this operating system that you're talking about, and it's a Wi-Fi provider. So are there operating system in AWS which are not from verified provider? The answer is yes, there are. Let me show you that as well. These are just an overview about it. Okay, just let me show you multiple others as well. Multiple other operating system. Okay, so click on browse more AMI and see here if you scroll down, free tier eligible, verified provider. Okay, you scroll down a little bit and scroll down. These are all verified providers, so you just don't need to worry about that as well. Right? Community AMI, I'm clicking on it. Okay, so here also is verified provider. There are verified provider, marketplace AMI. See, this is something which is called like AWS, Linux is there, right? But here it is not written verified provider. It means that it's provided by somebody, right? There is okay, so this is can also be can be a thing. Like I can take an operating system, I can do some kind of configuration, genuine configuration I'm talking about, not the malicious one. Genuine configuration I can do. I can install some kind of an application. What I mean, let me draw it as well for you. So what I mean is that I can take this particular Linux, okay, I can download it, and additionally some application, genuine application, right? I'm installing like something like as something like SQL or something like that. I'm installing it, and then now I have this particular thing which is called custom AMI. AMI means your proper operating system, and additionally I have added something, so I have customized it, right? So I have added something which is with the Linux. I have added my SQL, my application as well, so it's called your custom AMI which has been customized. Okay, now I have published it here, right? So you can do is that either you can, depending upon me, whether you can get it for free or you have to pay me some amount of money. But here you can see there is nothing which is called verified provider here also Microsoft. So it means it's kind of customized, right? That's the thing. Okay, this is the power of that particular small button. It's just a huge thing, right? So if you want to use it, like for example, many of you could be having a question that Amit, what if I, go and use this? There's a huge possibility that it could having some kind of a code or malicious code, because they have downloaded from the Amazon but then added their own code. So there could be a possibility that code could be genuine, that could be really helping you in particularly your resolving your particular query, or that particular code could be malicious. So that could be a thing. So take precautions when dealing with these kind of things, right? Okay, yeah, so let's go back to our on-chain instance. Windows and free are eligible. And now we come to a thing which is called instance type, right? Instance type means, again, another fancy name by the AWS. Instance type means hardware configuration. AMI, Amazon Machine Image. AMI is your soft operating system. AMI is your operating system, and your instance type is your hardware. Remember this thing, guys, right? The instance type is your respective hardware. So definitely in a machine to work properly, there are two things. Okay, for a machine to work properly, there are two things that you will be needing it. The first thing is that OS, operating system, which we say by the name AMI. And second thing is your hardware with the name of instance type. Like hardware means like your how much of your i3 you are having, i5, whatever the processing power you are having. Okay, CPU processing, graphic card, what's the you know uh what is the vendor of your graphic card, or what is the size of the graphic card, 2 GB, 8 GB, 4 GB, whatever it is. Okay, RAM. So this is all comes under instant type, right? Hardware configuration, right? So you are creating a server. You have selected an operating system from the Microsoft, which is verified provider. That's fantastic thing. Okay. But when it comes to the instant type, now we are selecting the hardware configuration. Okay. Now we are going to choose the hardware. What is the hardware that I will be using it? Okay. Right? Hardware configuration on this instance type. So now here, see, here it is written T2 micro. T2 micro is a kind of hardware configuration. They have created some certain kind of, a kind of hardware, and they have named it T2 micro. So here you can see at the right, just below it, it has one core of CPU, just one core, and 1 GB of RAM, 1 GB of RAM and one core of the CPU. It's very slow. You can say it's very, very slow. Just for the practical purposes, see in front of it, T2 micro, it is written free tier eligible. It means it is free of cost. Definitely, there is a limitation for that as well, right? Remember this thing, guys. Free tier means doesn't means absolutely free. Okay, what it means is that definitely for sure you will be getting free of cost. Remember this thing, but for one particular month you will be getting like 650 hours free of cost with this particular thing. 750 hours. So free means you can use you for one particular month, like from April to May, you can keep on running it, right? And 750 hours, day and night, 24 by 7 for a complete month it was running. And what was happening? You are you was you are not be able to, you will not be charged up single penny. But it doesn't mean that you create 2-3 instances like that. That's not the case. Okay, only one server, 750. That's it. More than that, you will be charged. Okay, so that's it. That's an also thing, right? So here you will see here it is written T2, this one core CPU, 1 GB memory, right? And it's free tier eligible. Again, it means free tier eligible. So let me show you multiple other types of instances. So if you want to get a kind of an overview what this instance type is, if you forgot about it, don't worry. What you need to do is I told you click on this info. And then right hand side you will see select an instance type that means your computer, memory, network, and storage need. Right? You scroll down to the AMI part. It's not. They have removed it. Okay. All right. So click on compare instance type. See, these are all the hardware configuration which is present there. Right? There is, just see T2 Taunt Nano, which have one core CPU, right? 0.5 RAM. Okay, network performance low to moderate, right? So all these kind of things are there. T3 large, T3, T3X large, T3 medium, right? And whatever the CPU that core they have, like 2 core, 4 core, 8 core, based upon your particular requirement, you will be choosing it. There is no kind of thing that this particular configuration you will be needing it. AWS have not set any kind of a limitation. They have provided you with multiple choices. Based upon your requirement, you have to choose it. Like it is like see this T3 dot X large. It has four T3 X large. It has 4 core of CPU. Why it's getting a problem? Yeah, T3 X large. It has 4 core of a CPU and it has 16 GB of RAM. Okay, it has 4 core of a CPU and see T3.2X large. This is the name of the instance, right? Sorry, this is the name of the configuration, right? These are the different type of configuration. Okay, this is what it means. So like for example, whenever if you want to go to any um, television shop, right? If you want to buy any kind of a television, so you go to any kind of a showroom or a shop, right? And they have already pre-built television sets, right? With different kind of configurations. Some would be having the OLED screen, some would be supporting the 4K, some could be supporting, that 180p, right? Based upon different customers, different configuration, right? They have already pre-built it and you have to do what? You have to select any one of it based upon your requirement, your own budget, right? You think that okay, I'm absolutely fine with with 180p. I have no issues with that, right? Because the more advanced features there would be there, like it would be having OLED screen, the expensive it would be, right? So think that okay, I have no problem with that. I could manage with LCD screen, no problem with that. I do not want to go for the OLED screen. Okay, so it would be quite cheaper for you, right? And definitely the size of the screen would also be very, right? So that is already pre-built, provided by this. There are multiple vendors like the Samsung, LG, right, multiple others are there. You will be choosing for that. Same here also. The name of the like any kind of a television is there was something XY that would be there. The same hardware configuration is there, T3 Nano. The same hardware configuration name is T2X large. So it varies. Like in the showroom, the size of the television is varying. Like it's something, sometimes it's 16-inch, sometimes it's 21-inch. Okay, same here, it changes. But the thing is that, like in the showroom or the shop you go, and you cannot say to them that make a custom television. That's not the case. You have to choose from the pre-configured one. Same here as well. You cannot go to the AWS and say to them that I want this kind of a hardware I want to, use, and it's not present in your database, make it for me. That's not how it would be. Definitely you have thousands of choices. See here you have numbering 1, 2, 3, 4. So see here you have thousands of choices from. See, we have something which is X2 IAD and .metal, which have 128 core of CPU, right? 4996 GB of RAM. That's humongous. And 3800 GB of storage. Okay, that's huge, right? So they have a wide range of it, from very small like this T2 Nano, from one CPU to 380 CPU, core CPU. Okay, this is it. So whatever you want, you can choose it, right? Click on launch instance. It's not supported in the zone. Yeah, okay, okay, it's resolved. Yeah, T2 micro, right? And key pairs is kind of an advanced thing which I'm not covering right now. And security groups, see, I told you security groups are there. It is by default. If you're not touching anything, see, firewall security groups. A security group, it is a set of firewalls rules that control the traffic of your instance, and rules to allow specific traffic to reach your instance. Okay. So whether you can create a security group or select the existing security groups. Okay. So I have these already security groups which I've created for some of my previous sessions. So I'm just going with the create security groups and allow RDP connection, remote desktop protocol from anywhere. This 0.001 one means anywhere. Okay. And this configuration storage is your volume, right? This particular on configuration storage is your particularly your volume, right? Okay. This is it. And the moment you click on launch instance, your instance will be created and you have to wait for a minute for that. Okay, guys. So this is it. Now, let's go back and let's move to our next topic, that is S3 bucket. Okay, so now let's move to our next topic, right? We have done with the S3. We are done with the S3, and I have told you about this instance type, instant and instance type. Instance type, instead I have shown you about it. Instance means server and instance type means. Okay, so now let's talk about a very crucial topic which is called S3 bucket. So S3, simple storage service, that it's a kind of full form of it, right? S3 buckets kind of a type of object storage one. What is an object one? Again a fancy name they have, the AWS has used. Object means file and folder. That's it. Your files and folders, they have called it an object. Your file and folder. Okay, that's what it is. That's it, right? And what it is that you can store your files and folder here, right? So it's highly scalable, secure, and you can, it can be accessed from anywhere in the world over the internet, right? So it is like your Google Drive, you can say. You like in the Google Drive, you can store your files and folders, and you can access it from anywhere in the world, right? You can share it with anybody else in the world, right? Those kind of things are available with your Google Cloud, right? That kind of thing is there. So like just same in Google Cloud, but not completely Google Cloud. As I already told you, in the Google Cloud, it is much for, a personal, a individual, right? And definitely with the Google Cloud, the thing is that it is less, less secure. There's a huge possibility that it can be a lot of security features are not present there. So that's why organization do not use Google Drive much. Organization uses this kind of features which is provided by the AWS, which is called S3 bucket. It is like your Google Drive, okay, your Google Drive, but with much advanced features as well. The same capability as a Google Drive, like you can store information, you can share it, you can all kind of things you can do, but with much more advanced encrypt things. You can encrypt things here also as well, right? Right, multiple things are there. You can, assign. people permissions and all those kind of things you can do. That would happen in your S3 bucket. Okay. Now let me show you a kind of an hands-on thing with the S3. Okay, just giving you a little bit of an exposure with the S3 part. And see, one more thing you need to keep in mind is that with this S3 is that the limit of S3 is limitless. You can store the zettabytes of a data, okay, not terabyte, not gigabyte, but zettabytes of a data into this particular S3 bucket. Definitely, you will be charged for that. Okay, remember this thing that you will be charged for that. It's not free of cost depending upon duration, depending upon the size of the data that you're storing file, like, okay, that's the thing, but you will, that zettabytes of data would be there, okay, you can store. But that's not the case in the cloud, that, Google Drive. Google Drive, I think, has a limitation of 15 GB right now, right? For if you are have a, if you're creating an account in the Google, you'll be getting at least 15 GB of that for free of cost. But if you want more than that, you have to pay for that. And even that, after some time, like for example, 6 TB, they have some kind of a limitation to that. Okay, that's kind of keep on changing. So that's a limitation. Even if you're paying for that, you cannot exceed more than 6 GB, right? But what if you are working in an organization and you are continuously, processing the information related to the patients or related to the, bank related information, okay? Right? So that's the thing. So that's why the organizations, corporates, government, or the public one, they use something which is called your S3 one. Okay, because you can store zettabytes of data into it, and you have to pay for that as well, but it's very, very secure, right? Okay, right. So just let me show you. Just give me a minute and let me switch to my AWS account. Yeah. So again, guys, so here I am here in the search bar. Now what I need to do is that click on the search bar, type your S3. Okay, the AWS is processing it. See everything, resource, blogs, documentation. You need to, learn it as the Glacier is type of a much more advanced thing in the S3 art. Tutorials, okay, events is there, marketplace, multiple things to do there. So I have just, so everything related to the S3, it will be providing you the features, blogs, document, 16,000, they have blogs, documentation they have provided me with. Okay, that's the thing. So what you need to do is that just click on the S3. Wait a minute, let it wait a minute. Okay, see this three, I have already a bucket. Okay, guys, like we have drives in our particular PCs. Okay, C drive, which mostly people use for storing your, for kind of your Windows drive. C drive, let's see example of C, D, and E. Okay, C, D, and E. There are three drives. Definitely the every information that you will be creating inside your laptop or your desktop, right? It will be stored either in your C, D, or in your E. Okay. Other than that, it will not be. There is no possibility that you will be creating a file or a folder which will be outside any of it. Definitely, if you're creating any kind of a file or folder, it would be present whether in your C, whether in your D, or whether in your E. Okay, it will not be just present outside it because nothing is outside there. Only these three are there, and every bit of an information which is created, stored, is present inside D, C, D, and E. Same is the concept with the game of bucket. In order to save anything, in the AWS, you need something which is called the bucket, right? So first you need to do is that you need to create a bucket. Okay, this is a thing which is called your bucket. Okay, and inside that bucket, you will be sharing your files and your folders. Okay, right? So like see here, I have created three buckets. Okay, right? Three buckets I have created it. So what you can do is that inside this particular bucket, what you can do, you can store your files and folders, right? And one more thing, guys, remember the thing, there's a kind of another thumb of rule. The bucket is that the name of the bucket, when you will be creating the bucket, this name, this create bucket, the name of the bucket should be unique, guys, right? Like for example, your Gmail name, like for example, mine is like Amit abcd something like that @gmail.com. It would be very unique, right? That's the thing that we do when we create like any kind of like in the Yahoo or Outlook or anything or the Google. The username is very unique. Out of the 6 trillion people which are present over this planet Earth, I have a unique username. Definitely the password would match that for sure, but your username is unique. Same with the bucket. All of the people, thousands and millions of peoples which are across the globe using the AWS, your particular bucket would have a different name. It could not be same. Two buckets could not be having same name in the complete global AWS architecture, right? So remember that thing. Okay. So that's why when you will be creating the bucket, it will be kind of a headache sometime, because it will keep on saying that this kind of name with a bucket already exists. So that could be a thing, right? So definitely for the security reasons they have done it. Okay. So what I'm going to show you that I have already a 3 buckets I have created. What I'm going to do is a click on it. And see, here I am inside it. Now it's saying the object. See, object are the fundamental entity stored in the Amazon S3, right? So it's kind of your files and folders which you have. Okay, you can properties and all those kind of things are there. You can edit it as well, and you can upload it. So you can upload it, uploading it, add files, add folders. You click on add your files, add your folders, and you upload it. It gets uploaded in your S3, and you can share it. You can do it, right? You can encrypt it. Multiple things are there, right? So you store your information in this something which is called your S3 part.